Hi, my name is Ben Schaeffer. I'm here today to teach you about English, more specifically, punctuation. What is punctuation? Well, you could get into the logistics of everything. I'm here to teach you about English. What is English? Well, we could get into all that, but today we're going to be focusing on punctuation. Comma, period, exclamation mark, dash, semicolon, and my personal favorite, the entera, bang. Semicolons are often avoided because people don't know how to use them. But when used properly, they can simplify and benefit your writing. They let you take, 2 or 3 ideas and combine them into one. With semicolons, conjunctions are optional but not necessary. However, what is necessary is independent clauses on either side of the semicolon. More scrumptious, if you will. It gets you out of the constant phase of just using commas and ands and conjunctions. It can combine 2 ideas briefly and efficiently. Semicolons can be used when you have 2 or more sentences that you want to express as a single thought. Some people think Donald Trump would be a great president. Some people think he would be a bad president. Use semicolons when you want to separate items in a series, especially when commas occur. They can actually simplify and group your ideas in a good way. Comma usage and their purpose. Separate compound sentences with a comma into conjunction. For example, like however, therefore, and, or but, or for. Sally wanted to go to the pet store, comma, but Henry wanted to go to the supermarket. If you use more complex conjunctions like however, you need either 2 commas or a semicolon and then a comma. Excluding one of the commas would be similar to not using one of the parentheses in a parenthetical statement. Let's eat, Grandpa, or let's eat, Grandpa. The last comma in a series or the last comma before a conjunction, it is best to use it to avoid confusion. And now I'm going to talk about the classic parentheses. Parentheses allow you to clarify things or add a side note that would not otherwise be grammatically correct. They can usually be replaced with a pair of commas or dashes. It is important to remember that the punctuation always goes after the parentheses. In the parentheses, it can be a complete sentence if you capitalize the beginning and put a period at the end. Dashes, like commas or parentheses, are used as separators. They set off the parenthetical information. Dashes are the most dramatic of the 3. However, they are often so overused that they become choppy and they lose their effect. Dashes can effectively mark an interruption or a break in thought, serve as a light bridge between things, or isolate a phrase for emphasis. They can also insert a parenthetical statement, mark the gathering of several ideas in a series. And finally, they simply break apart wordy, lengthy sentences. Namely when the first thought requires explanation, exemplification, or clarification. Colons can introduce lists. They can introduce a quotation that is more than 1 sentence long. But boys and girls, do not forget that you cannot use more than 1 colon per sentence. Hyphens. Hyphens can combine 2 words to create an adjective. For example, iced over lake. The second part of the video is about quotations and how to use them effectively. You have to use the comma if the quote is pretty short, like 1 sentence long. Or something like he said, she said, or they remarked. You also use a colon when the quotation length is longer than a sentence. With quotations, commas and periods always go inside of the marks. Never ever put cliché in quotations. Time to talk about block quotations. A block quotation is when you indent just the quotation to set it off from the rest of the paragraph. Block quotations are used when you have a really long quote. They put emphasis on the quote by separating it from the body paragraph. The indentions act as your quotation marks. Use slashes to mark the end and beginning of a line. Exclamation points! Exclamation points excite and exaggerate the prose. Only use exclamation points when you feel it is necessary to communicate your point.